Welcome to Message Reveal. Message Reveal identifies a vibe, a message, or a story told through lyrics of a song. So today I'm excited to welcome our special guest. But before I do that, I want to tell you a few things associated with our special guest. One, she's an author. Two, she's an environmental scientist, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about that. And three, she's a Black art mom. So I am so excited to welcome our special guest. Her name is, you have to help me. I apologize. Say the first name again.
Ariane.
Ariana Randolph. Yay! Thank you so very much for saying yes. And two, would you please tell us something about you?
Something about me. First off, thank you for inviting me and just asking me to be here. Definitely sending you gratitude for that. Something about me is hmm, there's so much. I love Mondays.
Okay.
Mondays is one of my favorite days of the week. And Wednesday is becoming probably my second favorite day of the week because my husband and I, we're a plant-based family. And my husband started doing Willpower Wednesdays where we juice pretty much have liquid diet on Wednesday. So it could be water, it's going to be tea, and that's like not like a commercial kind of tea, but like a loose herb tea, smoothies, also juicing, and then just juicing like a from the juicer where I'm making the
Yes.
juice. So Mondays is my first favorite day of the week, and then Wednesday for
I
Willpower
like
Wednesday.
that. I
Hmm.
like that. I like that you said that because I think we all have a day that really resonates with us. For me, it's Friday. I'm like, ooh, my Friday is here. I show out on Friday. But let's go back just a little. You mentioned about the juices. What has been the catalyst for it? And in addition to that, what has been the benefits of it?
So catalyst for juicing really has been just the overall plant-based lifestyle.
Hmm.
And in that, we really weren't big soda drinkers, and like the commercial grade juices. We I would say that documentary, I can't remember the title of it now, but yeah, was it Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead? Then Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. This documentary was on Netflix some years ago. So that was one catalyst, but then the other catalyst was that we, out of our five children that we have, our oldest, who is coming up on her 16th birthday, she had food allergies. They all have it, but they all have different ones. And
Mm.
so coming down the path of the food allergies and then seeing that documentary years ago, and then a slew of documentaries in between there, got us into juicing. But that one was all about juicing, and so we really just maintained juicing as part of the lifestyle since then. And we probably been through like three juicers. Like we just got one in January.
Wow, you
So,
guys are serious with
oh yeah.
that process.
Yeah, because we stopped everything. Like we stopped buying juice at the store. So we don't buy juice at the store. I mean, if my kids have it, it's because like grandparents gave it to them or something like that. But I'm not buying it. And then now we are researching and creating our business plan to open a natural market that'll have a juicing bar in there.
Wow, wait a
Yeah,
minute. Go ahead. Wait, we have to clap that up.
absolutely. Thank you.
Yes. That is amazing. Now tell us a little bit about that. I know you're in the planning stage, but what was the impetus for that process to say, I'm going to not only feed my family,
Mhm.
but the people in my community, I want to give back to them as well. What was the impetus for that?
Just not having it. We stay in a very transitional community. I was just on a call earlier with an elder of the community, grabbing their historical remembrances and their historical memories, because gentrification has definitely really decimated the area.
Mm.
There's this debate whether we're in gentrification, if we're not, but really the thing is we don't have it, and we are labeled as a food desert over here
Oh,
because of how our city is located with the river running through the city. We have to cross bridges, so although the distance may be short, but the logistics be a little off. So there's like at least 5 bridges connecting where we are, because we're right in the middle, and the St. Johns River runs right through the city where we are. And
and
it's
you're in Florida,
yeah,
correct?
so I'm in Florida. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. So I'm in Northeast Florida.
Okay.
And that's where I am. And we're a coastal community, meaning like we are along the Atlantic coast, but
Hmm.
again, that river empties out into the coast, but also runs through the city. And so
Nice.
because of that, when again, luckily we can, we have a vehicle, we can go to get things and that kind of thing, but everybody in the community can't do that. And so there's elders here, there's people that are transient. Again, because we're in what's called the urban core, a lot of the people may not have the means to do that. And so really we just, I just was kind of like not wanting to go to other places to like drive 10 minutes, 20, 30 minutes away just for a juice or just for this or just for that. And I'm like, okay, if I want it, other people gotta want it as well. But not only that, we need it. We need other
Yes.
options. And
Yes.
that's really what it came down to. We're also starting an urban farm. And so the idea is to have that urban farm feed into our natural market, and then we can grow the things that we're gonna juice, and whatever we cannot, we can source with the local farmers of the things that we're going to be juicing. And the idea is to have the food be our medicine, more so like a pharmacy, like FARMACY. So that's the idea.
Yes, I like that. I love that. Anytime we can give back, because we all have an ecosystem, I
Mhm.
believe, and the ecosystem all helps with each other. And anytime you can not only just take care of your family, but you can also take care of the people in the community, I think that just elevates your
Mhm.
community and makes your community that much more special. So kudos to you and your husband for the thought plan to do that. Do you know the projection time, how far away you are before you can actually bring that to life?
I would say realistically, maybe 36 months, maybe.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Probably the
amazing.
next 3 years, I would say, because we've been thinking the idea, speaking the idea, writing the idea, and now it's time that we're at the digging deep on the idea right now. So that's kind of where we are.
I think it's amazing. I will be tapping back in to hear more about this journey because we have to have examples of people that are successful doing that. And I know you will be successful. So you can encourage other individuals or to be a consultant and say, hey, these are the do's and don'ts of this process or what we ran into our challenges. So I think that is absolutely amazing.
Thank
And
you.
with that being said, it transitioned into you are a author, a book author.
Hmm.
And what is your book about? I know what it's about, but I need you to share with my audience what it's about.
Right. So my book is called Melanoid Breast Milk, and it's about breastfeeding. It's about promoting breastfeeding in Black families. I introduce the science of melanin in our breast milk. I don't go too deep because I don't want to, be like, wait, what she say? But really just introducing that science, letting Black families know that us having melanin is a unique part of us. Everybody has it, but we have more of it than anybody else. And so I talk about that. I talk about why we should be breastfeeding, why it's important. Talk on some of the challenges and some solutions to that, and then ways for families to stay connected. I'm going to be working on the audiobook for it, sometimes, well, not sometimes, all the times moms are busy. So I'm
Yes.
thinking of ways to get them, you just
Connected.
easier options, right? Easier options to be connected. So the audiobook version is going to be something really special. And I just really think the mom she can just put her headphones on and go and
Yes.
listen. And then when moms have questions, they can DM me or uh just whatever, and then come on and share their story, because I'll be doing podcasting with the moms as well, so they can share their own story and help other
Yes.
moms.
I love it. I love it. I'm a big proponent. My mother breastfed all of her children, all four of her children. My sisters breastfed theirs. And then when it came to my turn, I had some challenges. And I literally had a meltdown because I was like, I'm a bad mom because I couldn't do it. But over time, I found out other little things and I needed some more guidance. And a lot of it was my mother wasn't here at the house with me to support me throughout that process. So it was other things, but I am a proponent because this is liquid gold made exactly for that child. It's like
Mhm.
putting everything that's needed for that child from my perspective. So I'm a big proponent of it. But thank you for sharing it. And one last thing,
Mhm.
you mentioned, or I mentioned about you as I introduced you about Black Art Mom. Can you touch a little bit about that? And why do you identify yourself in that way? Are you big into the arts?
So Black Art Mom is something that, or it found me, I should say. I've embraced motherhood along this journey with my children. I often say that I've been with them just as long as they've been with me. So I do not have all the answers. We are getting to know each other together.
Yes.
And with that, y- my thought process was, well, we're not the soccer mom family. And so that's how I was thinking of it when I was thinking about our homeschooling journey. And then I saw all of them gravitating towards the arts. So they're all in the arts, and there's five of them. They're in different art disciplines. So I'll start with the oldest. She is my writer, or our writer. So she writes graphic novels, plays,
Wow.
short films, as well as the music. She writes the lyrics, and then now she's working on learning how to create her own music for those lyrics.
Wow. I'm
So
going
she's
to have her on one day. We'll talk later offline on that.
okay. Yeah. So even, yep, yeah, this is right all the way through and up her alley. Then the next one is my firstborn son. He is the visual artist. So he is gonna be drawing, his thing is 2D art. He also does the murals. So we've been very blessed to have some great artists, teacher mentors find us in the community and really nurture the kids and pour into them. And he has a great artist teacher mentoring him in his mural work. So he's
Nice.
done two murals by himself, and he's preparing for a third one. It was so hot. So now that it's like we've probably had 2 days of it smidgely cool it off, we'll probably next month we'll be out there. He could be working on his third one by himself, but
That's
he's definitely helped
amazing.
him do a lot. He just did his first pair of shoes, sneakers,
Wow.
where the sneaker is the canvas. And that was a great process because I came along on that journey with him and did a pair as well, and we really enjoyed it. So
Awesome.
yeah, we're gonna be doing some more. The next one in the middle is our culinary artist, and so he's our plant-based chef. I'll come back to him though, when I talk about the girls, but he's our plant-based chef. And as we just been on this plant-based journey, he's really pushed us and said, and that was another, when you said catalyst, he was a big catalyst for, or he is a big catalyst for the natural market and the juice bar, but I'll come back to him. The last two girls are our movement artists. So I don't say dancers, because it's a bit plain Jane. I
Hmm.
say movement artists.
I
I
like that
always
term.
Yeah, I always want them knowing, all of them, that they're artists and artistry is important, craftsmanship is important, and that no matter what your art discipline is, that we are telling a story in our art, and
Yes.
we need to be creating. And so I'm oftentimes showing them the trailblazers in their craft, people, who are economically thriving in their craft. I love to show them people who have families, especially older people in the craft, because they oftentimes are grandparents. And so they can see, like, listen, this is generational. And look at the body of work of this person, and look at them,
Wow.
making a living in their craft, but also they may be the one who is highlighting something in social justice. We talk about the cultural elements of all the crafts. And I love when their disciplines overlap so that they can see that although you may do visual arts, well, maybe you might need to do some spoken word that you've written down today because that's what this thing calls for. Or
Yes.
I know you're a movement artist, but maybe I need you to paint today. Maybe you not might not know that you need to be painting right now. Just to pull out some other gifts in them.
Yes.
So that's pretty much all of their crafts. But our middle son, he
Can
passed
I,
away in
if,
2020.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
So that's the thing that really propelled us into just embracing the arts, and again, going after the farm, the urban farm, the market, all the things, because he's our culinary artist. And that's the thing that we had to say, hold up, what are we doing? We got to shift it up and focus on what's going to heal and have us feeling our best.
Yes.
So,
Yes. I love that. Now, can you just give us the age range? You talked about your children, but what
yes,
are the age range?
oldest is 17, no, 16. She could be 17 in November. So 16. The next one is 14. He'll be 15 next Monday. They about to
Okay.
be turning. So 14, 15. And then the one in the middle, the one who's sunset, that's really the word that we use is sunset.
I
And
like
that's because
that.
the sun always sets and rises. And so it never fails to exist. So we don't say lost because we know where he is. He comes to
Absolutely.
us, and we do speak about him in the present tense.
I love
Um,
that.
so and we age him too. So he is 13.
So, by you saying that, when you said we age him too, I mentioned on my podcast numerous of time, I believe when someone transition,
Mhm.
we have to continue to honor them, or they have passed two times. They pass a physical death, but a spiritual death, we don't continue to talk about them, uplift them. And I like that you continue to align him with your family. You say his age, you talk about him, and what you do, from my perspective, you give energy to who he is.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's that may be this may be a sidebar, but it is what it is.
It Go right ahead. We flow here.
Got you. Okay, so the energy is so big is too small of a word.
Yes.
The energy that we feel is oftentimes unexplainable, and when we feel him, it is a very heavy in an uplifting way. Like it's almost like a punch,
Hmm.
meaning like we in any space, anytime, and we can be conscious or subconscious. We have given him permission to come to us.
Ooh, wait a minute. Wait 1 minute. I'm sorry. That word right there, you know where I'm going, right?
Mhm.
We have given him permission to come to us, baby, right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, this is not for everybody because we've been disciplined in this unknown space. And you ain't get to this question yet, but in reading it, I'm gonna just say this because I was wondering, I was like, I don't know, but someone told me they said oftentimes the unknown is greater than the known. And because of that, we have to embrace the not knowing, but be okay with that space
Yes.
and allow that unknown to kind of feel whatever it needs to feel.
I,
And so
I
that's
definitely agree with that.
that's where we are with him. It's definitely different than my grandmother, and I'm going to give her as an example, as she's an ancestor as well. It's different because he's my child. And so the
Mm,
feelings are different. The time, although I have more time with her than I had with him, but the intimacy is different. And because of that, it really, if you are open to what happens along the journey, it really doesn't never end. It never is the same. We're like in 1,321 days, I count days. And so sometimes it feels like day one or day six early on. And then sometimes it feels like the day. And the
mm,
reason I count days is because the days are present.
mm,
When we're talking in years and weeks and months, it it gives us a sense of past tense contextually. But if
mm.
I say, well, today is, I'm very intentional about what is and what's in today. Like I'm really honoring the day in the moment. So that's why I count days. That's why I speak about him in the present tense. And it has made me even recognize my older ancestral elders differently. I
Mm.
now speak about them in the present tense. I have giving gratitude to them in a different way to let them know it's okay, again, to invite them into my realm
Yes.
because it's important.
Yes.
So, and not just in libations when we're pouring libations and saying their names, but in very deliberate ways where I may call on them by name as we've been doing our lineage and seeing who is who and who is who. It makes me know that I can say how many great great granddaughters whose child I am. So that
Ooh,
now I can tell the children, well, really you're
yes.
so many great great great. And that is something about that
It is. It
that's
is.
very present.
Yes. It's a powerful unknown. We go back to the
Yes,
unknown and it makes it relevant to today.
right.
And I think it is so wonderful how you displayed that and gave it to us. I also want to go back, and I'm a mom, and I'm talking to you as a mother right now.
Okay.
I like when you pinpointed and said, we're getting to know each other.
Hmm.
And for so many reasons, parents think they know everything. And that's not the case. We have to really get to know each other and know what each child needs individually.
Hmm.
I have total of three, two biological, one godchild, and each child needs something different. What made you say that particular point where I want to get to know each other?
That really comes from really the way I see breastfeeding.
Mm,
The way I see breastfeeding and the way that I teach it and the way that it's taught me is that it's a relationship. So from
yes,
the very first drop, the very first suckling, whether it's at the breast or not, that part doesn't matter. But the very first time that a mom and a baby exchange all of the things that are being exchanged during the breast um nurturing process, you're learning and the
yes,
baby is learning. And this is like the most fundamental thing of nature, because oftentimes when you're looking at like cats and puppies and, animals, you can see this natural thing happening. But when we get in our humanness, we forget how
Mm,
really nature always wants to be kind of taking over and really kind of have us in this balanced relationship with the one another.
mm,
So I think that breastfeeding, really my respect for the power of breastfeeding is what has made me see it that way. And I oftentimes like to speak it the way that I see it, so that the actions start to take on what we're saying and what I'm thinking and what the ancestors are telling me. And so that's why I say it that way, because as the other part is, as that breastfeeding relationship transitions from, say, newborn to infant, and most people don't know that infant goes all the way to 24 months, which means your baby can be two and still an infant, not a
mm,
big boy, not a big girl. There's still an infant, and people are like, oh, well, I wonder why I put them down and they're crying, because the relationship is not just with you as a mother, it's with your heartbeat, it's with the cadence that you're speaking, it's
mm,
with your swallowing, because these things have a rhythm, this biorhythm.
mm,
And so this is important as mothers, because our children have all experienced our biorhythms. And the further away they get from that, meaning the older they get, sometimes the cadence and the rhythm comes out in, do they like to get hugs anymore? Or
ooh,
how do they, what do they do? Like, what do your girls do when they're on their moon cycle? Do they
mm,
know that's important? Do you give them a little extra TLC then? It's going to show up, but it's just going to show up a little differently. What are your boys doing when they see a girl that they're interested in? How
mm.
do they handle that? And so, what I mean is that we all come to these places for the first time together. So, just
Yes,
like it's your first time being attracted to the opposite sex, it's my first time and daddy's first time sharing and teaching it to you. And we're there together.
yes,
Like, you're
yes,
not here by yourself. Like you're not at your moon cycle by yourself.
yes,
It's your first time having your moon cycle, and it's my first time having my first girl. I got 3 girls. So with you, my oldest, it's my first time, just like it's yours. So now what? Now what we gonna do?
yes.
You see what I'm saying? So that's what I mean by, I'll tell them, I'll tell them, well, now we only been together for 16 years.
I love that. I absolutely
Mhm.
love that. Ooh, that's powerful.
Yeah, because it's a context and time. I really respect time. Since our middle son, Sunset, I have a new outlook on time, and I'm often bringing time into the equation because it's the most valuable thing.
mm.
So if I say, well, when they're like in the way to the 6-year-old, I'm like, she only been here 6 years.
Oh, that's a good way of redirecting someone so they're not so harsh or their
Exactly.
expectation is not like
Right.
she needs to do this.
Right. Or she should know this. Or I'll say, well, now, when you was here 4 years, you did da 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 da.
Mm,
And or I'll say, well, do the math between y'all. That's how many years? That's a whole decade.
yes.
So I'm wanting them to contextually think about. And often the other thing is that we homeschool, we don't really like take days off. So the lessons are always happening. So that's another reason why I'm saying, well, listen, I'm not your teacher. You're my teacher, and I'm your teacher, and we're both the
Ooh.
student. So that's why that relationship of us getting to know each other is so important, because we get to do it together. Like, it's not like, hey, no, I just teach you all the things. Mm-mm. We learn all the things together. And then when we need to relearn the things together, that's what we do.
I I think that is again amazing, it's powerful, it's elevating, and it gives moms a different perspective. Not just moms, anybody, a different perspective to look at things. I think we have been spoon fed one way, and that's the only way. And that may not be in alignment for you. It may be another perspective that you can tap in that will allow your life to flow.
Right.
And this is why this platform is so important, because we want to see different perspective. I'm not here to tell you what is for you. I'm here to expose, engage, and have a little fun along the way. But I love that. Thank you so much for just giving us some of your journey. Um, with that being said, we're going to transition, and we're going to transition. Anytime I have my guests on, I ask them to identify a lyric that has either blessed them, unveiled a perspective, or even distracted them, but it's from their perspective. But before we get started, there's rules to this game, sister.
Okay.
So you wasn't expecting that, were you?
Uh-uh.
So I always say, if you can sing, I need you to sing your throw box out.
Oh
If
my
you
gosh.
can rap, you must come hard and rap. But if you can't do any one of those things, say it boldly, with care, and convey what you have to say.
Okay.
So, are you ready, my dear?
I'm ready. We gonna make it do what it do. You say we
Yeah,
on the flow. Let's flow.
yes, let it flow, let it flow. So, can you identify a song that has really given you some perspective in life that you can share with us?
Perspective. Hmm. It's so many. It really is so many. Mm, Let me see. And you're jumping around too.
Yes, I do. I jump around.
Yeah.
I give you the run of show, but I still, it's whatever comes to your heart.
Mhm.
However you see it, could be something you heard just yesterday or today.
This
What?
one's on perspective.
Yes, yes. Whatever perspective is, how do you look at it? Has really given you something like you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize until I listened to that song.
Mhm.
It gave me a different point of view.
I'm thinking of the one that anyways, this is what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the Lauren Hill, Miseducation of Lauren Hill. Um,
Mm,
um, 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 my world it moves so fast today. The past it seems so far away. Um, and life squeezes so tight that I can't breathe.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of the rest of it, but anyways, that's the song I'm thinking of.
So why, okay, so thank you for sharing that, but why did these particular lyrics attract you?
This I would say this is the more, although that song is a very older song, but it has come to me multiple times. And likely because when I mean being a mother, well, let me say it like this, being a good mother, it's it can squeeze you.
Yes.
It can get your attention. And I go all in. Like I don't do nothing, anything like I'm either like all or nothing.
Yes.
So I think because of that, it got my attention and it lends itself to my lens and perspective. But it really, I think she goes on in the song to say how she's really finding her way and making, making her own destiny and that kind of thing. And not that I make my own way because I believe in a spiritual or higher power, but I think that having agency is important,
Mm-hmm.
and having to deal with a child, have a child in the spirit realm and have that child communicate with you still
Yes.
has been very jolting.
Mm.
So because oftentimes there is this space of the unknown, that's what it feels like. But then I like how she really kind of describes this navigation to a place where she feels somewhat in control, even if
Mm-hmm.
she just thinks she is. But it
Well,
works.
we all need that. That provides a sense of balance for us. But we also have to know that we cannot hold on so tight to that control and not receive our blessings from God. Like, it's one thing that I hear my friend would always say, the foolish things of man are the wiser things of God.
Mm.
And I would hear that over and over again. And one day it finally resonated with me. It may sound foolish from man, but when God gives you that assignment, when God gives you that perspective, can't nobody stop you. And with that being said, I think that's how we should operate. Like, we can't hold too tight, but we do need to have a balance. It's balance. It's
Mhm.
balance. How about that?
Exactly.
It's balance. So, thank you for answering that first one. And I have another question for you.
Okay.
As a child, we all had that particular song that we sung. I know I have, and we enjoyed it. And then we became adult, and we're like, wait a minute. I did not realize that that song said that. It was the energy of the song, the cadence and the beat that grabbed us in, and we, before we know it, we're just, shaking and popping to it. Can you identify a song that you can remember as a child that you sung and then became an adult? You're like, wait a minute, what is this?
So I was thinking about that. Music has been a part of my life for a long, long, long time. And really, even growing up, even if I was singing something, I was aware of the context, or I was aware if it was an adult, like if it was adult, or if it
Wow.
had sexual overtones. And I was born in the late 70s, so it's gonna be like 70s, 80s, 90s. And I mean, really, I was I was singing it because I can remember my mom playing Luther Vandross and Anita Baker and all these
Yes.
songs. And I knew they were love songs. I knew they were. Yeah. So I there wasn't something that I didn't know contextually as a child what I was singing.
Hmm.
So I there wasn't a song, but I just was aware of the context. Or maybe I was aware, man, do I hum it right now? Because I'm in the car with mama them and grandmama them. Or is this one that mama said it was kind of okay? I knew that
Yes. Yes.
to kind of be popping and locking it to, or who you might need to just listen to this one. Don't really get too wild.
Yes, it sounds like, if I may say, that you were well in tune with your surroundings, so you knew what was said and what wasn't. And usually we don't, it takes time to develop that. And it sounds like you were already tapped in with that.
I think so. In hindsight, looking back on it, especially as a mother, and then knowing like, okay, hey, and I was the only child too, so that was a different thing. I grew up as the
Wow.
only child, so it was just me wearing that. I mean, I have a house full, and oftentimes it's never ever like something that seems so small is never a dull moment around these parts. Ever, ever, ever. And it is still hard for my mom to get used to like the noise or the chatter. Or that she could call me and then one gonna come up and then I might talk to this one and then the other one might feel away because they're like, oh, but I was talking to she my mama and then she was my mama first and then well she was my mama second, you know. So and and
Yes,
and, and my mom as an elder was like, well, I'm your mama.
I understand. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That is so funny. That is funny.
So I guess to answer the question, I was very in tune then because it was always a lot of music from the house parties
Hmm.
to block parties,
Yes.
people blasting their music like loud. That was a thing. This is just when I was like little, like 6, 7, 8, 9,
Hmm.
10. Eventually I was in the band, the marching band. And
Okay.
so that was a different musical experience because I was in percussion. And like I tell my daughter, we were the beat. And when you have to play and dance, I play clarinet too. So I
Okay.
did a lot of different musical things. And when we was playing different like Earth, Wind and Fire and all these
Yes.
kinds of things, there was no sheet music. You could be like, hey, let me Google it and find it. No, somebody had to sit and write the music and write the beats and write these types of things. And it also teach you a different type of discipline. I mean,
Yes.
that was more so like high school and stuff like that. But yeah, I think I was in tune in terms of context.
Yeah, and definitely that because you said that one you said I knew what it was about.
Yeah.
And when you know and you can navigate around what you can say and not say,
Hmm.
that's you have to be in tune with that. So we love that you are in tune, and I'm pretty sure you can identify in your children that they are tapped in and in tune with things, or by example, they see that you are and they tap into their natural in
Hmm.
tuneness and execute what needs to be done because
Yeah,
of it.
absolutely. In terms of music, they interestingly have their own likes and sounds and different things. And we have like certain playlists, one for them. They
Yes.
make requests when we're in the car, like, okay. And
Yes.
it's interesting because when we were coming up, like we had the radio, but now they have the luxury to not have the radio and have this curated writing soundtrack, to when we're going to rehearsals, what it's going to be. And me even learning this sidebar, but me even learning that when we're doing movement arts, that's rehearsal. If we were doing sports, because I used to do capoeira, jiu-jitsu, my boys and my oldest girl,
Wow.
that's practice. There's a
Yes.
difference.
Yes.
I learned
Wow.
all the vocabulary.
Yes, my children, they have their own music, and you're right. When they get in the car, if I play something, they say, "Okay, is it my turn? I need to." And I'm like, "Yes." And then she was like, "Well, he had too many turns, so now I get two more, and I have to make sure it's balance across the
Balance.
board, because if not, somebody's gonna bring it to my attention."
Mhm.
So, and then I can't wait till my god baby, my little one, he gets older. I'm pretty sure he's gonna have
We're gonna bring it.
requests too.
Yes.
Yes. So, with that being said, how do you, and this is off the cusp of another question,
Hmm.
how do you take time for yourself? I'm a big proponent. Some mothers are so amazing and they forget about their self. And when they do that, they are showing their children without saying anything that I get to forget about me. And
Hmm.
I think it's very necessary that you have some time for yourself, because if you're fully ready, you can execute fully with the children. What do? You and your husband both, and separately, to have that self time because you homeschool, you do all these things.
Right.
What do you do for you?
So for me, I'll speak separately. We or me personally, I love my workout time, so I work out.
Okay.
And in my workouts, I often, because I said, remember I said the river runs through the city.
Hmm.
So we live less than a mile from the river. And there's like three bridges down there, but there's two that I we create this route along the river walk. And so we jog that. So sometimes we jog that together. And then sometimes I jog it by myself.
Okay.
So interestingly enough, we have a together route and I also have a by myself route.
I love
He's laughing.
that.
Um, he knows it. It's not like it's, like an unsafe
Yes.
route or something, but it the by myself route is actually a little longer because
Mm,
I'm wanting to give myself at least 75 minutes.
yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
my time that's active is counted, but if that's my time in the car, the drive over, the water drinking when I'm
Yes.
coming back and cooling down, all that time counts.
Yes.
So, it might be 75 minutes, 80, 81, 82.
But it,
Even if you do a store run and it's just me.
yes.
And this is interesting because I won't say the name of the store, but somebody at one of the big box stores who knows we have a large family. They was like, "Oh, I bet you on vacation in here in the store by yourself." I was like, "Don't you know it?" So with that, we turn moments into other things. We use our
Mhm.
imagination. So sometimes when it's me and him, if we have to make a said store run, we'll call it a date.
Yes.
we have like when we're doing our commute to take him or pick him up, that's our time too. So we may talk about something, whether it's something about us, whether it's a memory that we may share with one another, or something, it could be something business, it could be something investing, fine, it can be whatever.
Yes.
Or we may listen to some adult content because sometimes one of the kids may come to on pickup and he be like, "Oh dang, we can't listen to, whatever, whatever."
Yes. I
So
think,
we, yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. No, finish what you're
No, I
saying.
was just gonna say we have our things that we do together, and we let them know that we are husband and wife first.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have no problem letting them know. Listen, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for mommy and daddy together. And if
Yes.
that means that we all sitting on the sofa and daddy comes by and say, "You need to scoot over," guess what? You need to scoot over.
Oh, how
Yeah,
cute.
that's what you need to do. Because my little one is so attached.
Mm.
She's not as attached as she used to be, but she's been the most, you know, clingy one, and rightly so.
Is she the
Just of how
youngest?
she is the youngest, but also, it's been COVID during the bulk of her time. She didn't do like the VPK away from the daycare thing. She didn't do that because of that. And the other one only did like 1 year, but so, and then the other thing, her and my oldest daughter are 10 years and 2 days apart.
Oh,
So they're real close. They almost was born on the same day. So I think
wow.
it's just kind of this, I'm older sister, but I'm younger sister competition. And then it's like, oh, but she's my mommy. And like to her, I'm just her mommy, and that's it.
Yes, yes, yes. And she's like, I'm the baby. I'm gonna take up all that energy I can.
Right. All the time. She feels all the room. But so, I told him this the other day that I'm thankful for the love that we have because it's so evolutionary.
Mm.
It evolves so much, and it's nice to oftentimes not know we are as my oldest daughter explained it, like when you have a born day, you're not turning that age because you've already lived that year that you're celebrating.
Mm.
So we are technically in our 18th year. They would say, oh, it's 17, but technically we're not 18th year. And when we get to our anniversary, we'll start day one of the 19th year.
Yes, yes.
That's
I understand what you're
right.
saying.
And so when she said it that way, because I like the way that it makes sense in terms of time, I really respected it for the factual nature of it. And I just enjoyed saying it.
Yes.
So because we're in that 18th year, sometimes it's hard for me to kind of believe, like, I'm like, dang, it's been 18 years, like for real. And then something new happened. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so nice because this is new. And so
Yes.
I love the new experiences that we have together and the new experiences that I have separate. Now, this is, as you're talking about self care and finding
Mm-hmm.
myself, this is important as a woman because I also turned 45 this year.
Oh, wait a minute. Hey, yeah.
So as I turned 45 this year, which I was really like really excited, it's been a very interesting year and very transformational. And so there are things that have been new that I've been like, oh my gosh, this is nice. Like, dang, 10 years about the 40s. Yes. So I've been loving this 40 plus, but now 45 plus. I'm really enjoying that. And the more I do that in terms of, again, what I'm taking that time for, I'm like, I jog, but like I said, okay, I've been adding my weights, but more of the weights, I've been efficient, just things that I'm like, okay, I want to do more of this,
Yes.
or I want to be disciplined in this. Like with this Willpower Wednesdays, and when he was like, okay, we juicing on Wednesdays, I'm back. Oh, or we fasting on Wednesdays, I'm like, okay, done. So that's something that he and I do together.
Yes.
So it could be, it's just things like that.
I love that. And the reason why I wanted you to say that, I wanted to give a perspective. If someone is tapping in, they're a new mother, they're a new family. I want them to understand that we are all on a journey of figuring out. Nobody is perfect, even though in this world it's been presented like this perfect process, and it's not. We're here to learn, to evolve, and also to help each other. I really believe in you have because you give because you have, and because of your giving, you're never without, you're never without, you're never without. So it's a part of learning is also giving as well, from my perspective. So when I say that, can you share with me? We all have our peaks and our
Mhm.
valleys. All of us. That's what life is all about. Can you share a song lyric that you have really chosen to hold close to you when something came about that you're just like, oh, this is devastating, or I just need some perspective? What
Mhm.
is your, what I would call your tap in song? Like you put it
Mhm.
on and it just changes your energy, it changes who you are, and it really resonates with you.
That's gonna be, again, there's so many that we could pull from the list. I kind of have one I'm thinking of is it's a newer song, and over time that tap in song has definitely changed. So I'll kind of share about what's my now kind of tap in
Okay.
song. That's gonna be Prosper, uh the guy David Michael Wyatt.
Okay.
Prosper. He sings with Toby.
Oh, yes, yes.
How you say it?
Okay.
Wigway with the family,
Yes.
and I love that as a
Yes.
family. But he has like a little version that he sings of that Prosper, and it's really about just prospering and just doing all the things and thinking positively.
Yes.
That's what it's
Yes.
really about. The other one that I would say kind of couples with that, it's more like of an intro, but it's Kevin Ross, uh, complete, yeah, until it's done, because he's like, until it's done, and he's talking about all the things in 2020, and he's just like, I'm gonna get it done until it's done. But those two together, because he's just saying, hey, I got to keep on moving no matter what's going on. And the other one is at the beginning of my Bridges playlist. So the list that before I start jogging and getting it popping, I put that other one on, and I hear that first. Or when I need it like kind of blasted in the house, I'm gonna like turn it up, blast it, and they already
Yes.
know. So sometimes you just, yeah. And
And
then the
so
other one, yeah.
those
So those
are,
two together,
and do you, whenever you need to use those, you just pop it in and use it, correct?
right? It's in two playlists, meaning like it's in the one on our Apple Music side and the one on our YouTube Music side. So that way, no matter what platform on, we can go to the playlist.
I know that's right. I know
Mhm.
that's right. She said go to a playlist. Can you identify a artist that really resonates with you? Um, for example, when you were a child, or I'll take that back. Let me redirect that. The first time you had the opportunity to purchase without anybody's influence your own album or cassette tape or CD, I
Mhm.
say all of that to give perspective, but your first thing with nobody influence, it was something that you were attracted to and you're like, oh, I had to get that. Can you tell us?
I'm glad you said cassette, because that's what I thought. I was like, I bought a cassette first, and I'm not sure exactly what artist it was, but this is who I think it might have been. I think it was either New Edition,
Mm.
In Vogue, or who was the other one I was thinking about? It was one of those two, because I remember being in like middle school trying to do the dances from the In Vogue.
Yes.
Hold on to all them songs. Boys and Men was the other one
Oh,
I was thinking
okay.
about. And then I was like, well, all this other music. But then I was like, no, my parents had all that music. And my mom and dad, they were divorced, but my dad had his stuff like Jimi Hendrix and
Mm.
all of that. And then my mom had, like I said, the Anita Bakers and the Luther. Everybody had Michael Jackson. We had. So I'm thinking, like, what did I buy? Like, I saved up my little money and it went. I think it was one of those three. I believe maybe New Edition, but I'm not sure.
So, okay, let's talk about one of those three. Let's pick a
Okay.
song from one of those. Let's say New Edition. Is it a
Mhm.
particular song that stands out for you that you really enjoy?
From New Edition, maybe I'm thinking early New Edition, like um is it the end? Are you my friend? I wasn't thinking Candy Girl. I mean, that was cool, but everybody was playing on the
Yes.
radio, so that was it
Yes.
was it was just, but I think it was that dun 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 dun. That's the song that had the little kind of one of them had a little rapping part in it. But anyway, yeah.
But so those were the main three you're attracted to. New Edition,
Yeah, Boys to Men,
of
In
course,
Vogue.
In Vogue, yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, In Vogue. Hold on
Yeah,
to your love.
exactly. Yes. Like that whole In Vogue setup. And when they had little red dresses and then I used to like old movies too. So I knew I'm like, oh, they like Sparkle. So I used to watch Sparkle all the time.
Really?
Yes. I
Wow.
love the musicals. And I used to see like the other musical, like the ones with Olivia Newton-John and stuff like that. But then when I
Uh-huh.
discovered like the
Grease.
black musicals, I was like, oh my gosh, why y'all ain't tell me? And then I used to be watching them over and over and over. But I used to love Sparkle. I mean, it was a sad story, but
Yes.
the drama, the singing, so I love
The
Sparkle.
whole arts of it.
Yes. And then didn't realize like it was a whole kind of package. I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I liked all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Carmen Jones. I love Carmen Jones. I watch that all the time.
So, do you have any of your children that like the older black movies and art since you are a big fan of it?
Maybe my writer, she probably does. And then when there's dancing parts, my girls, they like the movement arts in it because they've been exposed already.
Yes. Yes.
So anytime there is something where I can pull a little snippet out and show them, like I remember one time, oh my goodness, taps like with Gregory Hines. Oh
Yes.
yes, my mom loved that, and so I watched that all the time. And then when they seen the Debbie Allen's Chocolate Nutcracker on Netflix, that's the thing because this was in 2020 when everything happened. That's the thing that got me looking into movement arts for them because one of them was like, "Oh, well, I wanted to dance all my life," and I was like, "Well, I know you all your life, and I ain't know that, so I'm glad you're telling me." And she said it so matter of fact, and I was just like, "Are you sure?" She was like, "No, mommy, I do. I've been doing," and said it. Oh, mommy, no, I want to do this all my life.
Wow. Wow. And that goes back to we're getting to know each other.
Mhm.
I
Exactly.
love that. I
And when
love
she said it, I said, "You know what? Let me see what I can do. Let mommy see who she can find, who's us
yes.
that we can support." And we were ready to move. I was ready to move. And that was one of the things that made us stay put.
Mhm.
And, my son, Eshuen, said, "Hey, no, mommy, just stay." And the other ancestors like, "Nope, this is where you guys need to be."
Wow.
And then
Wow.
that's when the teacher, mentor, artist found us and found the kids and found the family and really started to pour into them. And then that's really when Black Art Mom found me. That was like
Mm.
summer of 2020. And it was, and I remember pointing out to her, I was like, "Yeah, that's Savion Glover from Taps." And this is what I do when I tell them something, I'll go with, I love YouTube. So I'll find the video, I'll show them Taps, and I'll show them different contextual historical references to say, like, no, this is a guy, this little boy is who that is, who Miss Debbie Allen has teaching those children. And she's, oh
Yes.
my gosh, wow, so they're, yeah.
I think that's amazing. You continue to not just expose, but show them chapters inside of the process,
Yeah.
which I think builds up even more of a longing and a wanting to
Mhm.
do it. Like you're not just saying, here's the picture, here you go.
Right.
You're showing them pieces of the picture. I
Right.
think
And
that
it's
is
over time too, because I'm often coming back. Like I'm big on repetition, but repetition in the right spot. So like
mm,
for that particular one, she goes to a traditional pre-professional program. I'm thankful. I love that it's black owned. It's amazing. And I remember when she just wanted to do ballet, and the founder instructor said to her like, "Oh, ballet is her gift, but
wow.
we need her to learn all of this, and here's why we do it." And then I found the historical context of why most places, black or white, have all of these disciplines under one place. And it grew out of in New York when they were, so this was like in the 30s and 40s up until the
Mhm,
60s, and they were wanting to get property. Most things come down to property. They was wanting to get property from black owners. And there was one place, and the couple that Taps is made off of, that place where they were, was the actual building that was housing all of the crafts. So they
mm,
were only teaching tap. And then people were like, well, I do ballet, or I do this, or I do disco, I do whatever. And they were like, hey, well, you know what? Just come over here. Instead of you stopping the class, come over here and teach it. And the guy, his first name is Jojo. He's a tap artist, but he talks about his parents. And he says he's cousins with Debbie Allen. He was like, it was my parents. I think the name of the place that they had was like JoJo's Dance Factory or something like that. But it was in New York. And so his parents had everybody coming in, doing all the classes. And he was like, now that's why you have ballet, tap, jazz, and modern often taught together. And that's how people do again, including the PWIs. They do it that
mhm.
way as well. They probably don't know why they do it that way, but that's why. And
Well,
so
I
when I
think
told her that, she was like, okay, because she didn't want to take tap. And I'm like, no, this is the history of it. This is why it's important. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. And after that, she was so.
that's amazing. I'm glad that you brought that up because we do see multiple disciplines in one area, even though they may gravitate to one particular discipline. I
Mhm.
think it just gives them a different perspective and it opens up more of an understanding like, oh, okay, tap can also, okay, this ballet can,
Right.
okay. So it's a evolving wheel, I
Yep. And
believe.
that's why I like when their art forms overlap as well. So they can
Yes.
see, like, listen, guys, one day y'all might work together. One day y'all might create a piece together or with your
Yes.
counterparts or whatever. And you can see how it all comes together, from the music, the visuals, even to the costumes. So
Yes.
that's art as well.
No, definitely that. And as you're saying that, I'm thinking about this, and you probably can relate as a mother or as a, let's take being a woman. We have transitioned into different things. Like we may have done one thing at one time, and then that no longer suits us, and we've moved on to something else. But we can still take that experience and that knowledge and apply it to what we're doing now, even though it may be something different. And I look at it that in that aspect.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
So I have one last question for you,
Okay.
my dear, and I hope you've been enjoying this process
I
because
have. This has been really fun.
oh, good. I've been thoroughly enjoying it. But my last thing is, I believe in celebrating energy. And when you see a group of people like singing happy birthday, the energy is like happy birthday or happy birthday, the traditional song.
Hmm.
Or in a graduation, you see, is a song by Drake. I started from the bottom, now I'm here. Everybody, when they sing it and I love it. I'm like, oh, yes, I'm participating. And even if I'm not participating, just to watch it, I'm like, yes, I get
Right.
elevated. Can you identify a song that really makes you like, yes, we own it? It gives you great energy that you participated in or you saw a group doing it?
I want to say for that one, I mean, these songs, this thing, this soundtrack to our life is amazing. So I'm thinking about just a classic of I'm thinking about Frankie Beverly and Maze. That's what I'm
Okay.
thinking about. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking
Yes.
about um before I let go.
Yes.
You know, that's what I'm thinking about. Even though the Beyonce version, but either one, that
Yes.
classic or Maze featuring Frankie Beverly, either one, I'm thinking about
Yes.
that. And you just whether it's like a reunion or somebody
Mm-hmm.
played on the bus riding
Mm-hmm.
somewhere or the kids hear it, they even again these songs that are like just classic where
Yes.
everybody's kind even if you don't hop up and dance, you're gonna kind of rock, you're gonna do something, you
Yes,
know.
ma'am.
That's
That's
the one
so
I'm thinking
funny.
about.
Yes, she said, even if you don't hop up, you go rock. And that's very true. Because some of us, everybody don't dance, but we will rock and go, yes, or put our 2 cents in that process.
Right. Yeah, you gonna feel it a little bit. I mean, me, I'm a dancer. I'll get up and dance, and I don't
Yes.
mind being the only one on the dance floor either. So I'm okay with
Listen,
that.
that means you love what you do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just want to say this. It's not typically a part of my process. So we met originally in Miami at the podcast summit. And I don't know if you remember when you initially met me. So my sister and I were leaving, I think it was the first day we were leaving to go get dinner. And you and your husband arrived. And I love to watch mothers.
Hmm.
One, because I'm a mother, but I just love motherhood. And I saw you and your husband get out, and you were like, boom, 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 and the babies getting out, and they were all walking in a line. And I think I said something to you, like I said, wow, but I was like, you go ahead, mom. Do you remember that
I do
particular?
remember. Of course, I remember. Yes, yes. We
And
were doing
it's
the off things. Yes.
Yes, and you got them in. I was like, wow, she is amazing. In my head, I said that because I know the responsibility of packing and getting everybody ready and to,
Yeah.
execute the job. But it's so funny throughout I guess, the conference, I didn't see you anymore. And I said, I hope I run into her to find out more about her.
Hmm.
And we end up running into each
Uh-huh.
other, which I don't believe is not by accident. Everything is divinely planned.
Absolutely.
And thank you for saying yes to me. I
Hmm.
appreciate that. I feel like this has been so much. Anytime anybody come on, of course we're going to talk about music because that's my jam. That's my jelly, my
Right.
jam. But I want to learn from whoever's sitting on the other side. And I feel like you've poured out some wisdom. You've shared some um, personal perspective, and you were really being transparent. So I thank you for that. And anytime I leave, I always say these one things. I feel like the journey is just as important as the destination. The
Absolutely.
journey is where we learn and where we grow. The destination is where we celebrate. We have to have moments to celebrate. But the key to it all is to get back into the journey and continue to learn. So before I say bye, I want to see if you have any upcoming events, any social media handles you would like to share, anything you would like to share with our audience, or contact information
Hmm.
as well. So if one wants to get in contact with you and just share a moment with you, can you share with my audience?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yes, I remember that moment where we met, and there are all the things that come with getting children and a whole family to a place. So we were thankful to be where we needed to be. And in my head, when you was describing that moment, I'm thinking like, oh, I like people watching too. So I appreciate that. I appreciate being seen. So thank you.
Yes.
But we are at Black Art Mom on Instagram. We are also at Melanoid Breast Milk on Instagram. And that's Melanoid Breast Milk on Instagram. We're on Facebook too, but we're more active there. So I'll just say hit us up on Instagram for just staying connected with us, seeing what the kids are doing, what the family is doing. just seeing how you can share your story with us in terms of you have a breastfeeding story, or if you're childbearing age, but you haven't had children yet. I oftentimes don't think that we focus on our childbearing women who have not had children and
Yes.
encourage them to be mothers and to be wives. There is this personhood language it's creeping into the sacredness of motherhood, and I'm okay with it for wherever it is. I just don't introduce it into my space.
Mm-hmm.
I still celebrate womanhood and
Mm-hmm.
motherhood. I think it's important. I know that whatever box we choose to check, none of us would be here without the parts of a woman. And so
Say that.
yeah, so I think that's important. And what we're working on, I briefly talked about the juice bar and the natural market here locally. We're in the Northeast Florida area. And we're also working on an urban farm to partner with that natural market. It'll be a mixed use construction project. So really some light development, if you will. We did develop our house as a single family home, and we're really wanting to show the children that we need real estate to do a thing,
Yes.
meaning like all the arts that they're in has to happen in real estate. Someone has to own it and someone has to develop it.
Ooh.
So we want to show them that, okay, our next project needs to have this natural market for our middle son and just for the community. And then the middle space will have an art space that can be used for dance, movement arts, uh probably a recording studio as well, and then a top space will be a livable residential space. And the idea again, we want to show them multiple uses under one roof, so
Mm.
that we like to check multiple boxes. We want to put it in the community that we live in because
Oh, okay. I guess we had technical difficulties. She popped out. We still want to honor her. So before we get out of here, we want to thank Ms. Randolph for her time, and we appreciate everything that she offered and her transparency today. So make sure you guys check me out on Monday at 7 o'clock on YouTube. It's Message Reveal, and I say don't follow me, but join me. And I usually, if she was still on here, I would bow to her. So I bow to her, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you.